The latest and greatest iPhone, the 15 Pro Max, or the people's champion, the S23 Ultra. Which is the better phone? Welcome to this much awaited comparison, guys. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, press on the bell icon so you don't miss any other update. And with that said, let's get started. Category number one is design and feel. Let's talk about the S23 Ultra first. So over here you get a 6.8-inch display. It's a more rectangular shape on the back, as you can see, and the phone looks very clean and very minimal in my opinion, but it is a bit bulky, especially if you're someone who doesn't like larger sized phones. The iPhone 15 Pro Max, on the other hand, comes with a new matte frosted glass on the back with new titanium rails that make the phone much lighter and therefore more comfortable to hold. It's also more comfortable because of the curved edges, and so you can grip the phone nicely, but it's still a big display at 6.7 inches. The Samsung has a stealthy matte finish on the back in, I think, what is one of the best smartphone colors ever, which is the Phantom Black. So this is a subjective round, but yeah, better looking, definitely Samsung in my opinion, but more comfortable, that's the iPhone 15 Pro Max for you. Let's talk about displays now. Both of these phones have incredible displays. Samsung's one is slightly more higher resolution, coming in at QHD+. Both the displays are 120 Hz and they are dynamically up to 120 Hz, which means that they go lower as low as 1 Hz and as high as 120 Hz depending on what you're doing to get the best out of battery life as well as refresh rate and smoothness. Both displays, honestly guys, look incredible. And if we talk about brightness, Samsung has a peak brightness of 1760 nits and the iPhone has a peak brightness of 2000 nits. But don't let that affect your decision, because both phones in indoors or outdoors are very easy to read and very easy to use, and peak brightness is only something that your phone hits at a certain time at a certain level. So that doesn't really mean anything in day-to-day usage. As far as display colors and quality are concerned, both phones' content looks absolutely incredible on them. So yeah, they're both great displays, so both of them get a point in this round. Category number 3 is OS and software. Again, a very subjective round, guys. Some people prefer iOS, some people prefer Android, but over here what we're essentially comparing is iOS 17 versus One UI 6, which is essentially Android 14 with Samsung's skin on it. Now, you can argue about this in the comments for as long as you'd like, but there are people who prefer Android over iOS and some people who prefer iOS over Android. I am a part of the former group, where I think that the extra customization features and the fact that I can literally decide what happens in my phone with every single application makes Android a much more suitable operating system as far as my needs are concerned. So I would pick the S23 Ultra over the iPhone in this scenario. But if you don't and you prefer iOS's simplicity and the ecosystem and all of that, then that is also equally fine, to each their own. New notable additions to the iPhone 15 Pro Max that I have to mention include a brand new action button in the place of the mute slider that you can customize it to set up a lot of different actions in the phone, and a Type-C port, which is a welcome change. The action button isn't really a big change for me, but it might be to you, and that's totally fine. If we talk about the S23 Ultra, a special thing that you get in this phone is of course the S Pen, which is baked right into the bottom part of the phone. This to me is a lot more useful than an action button because A, I can use it to write down notes quickly, I can use it to sign documents if I'm e-signing a lot of documents over emails, and it's just nice to have to do a lot of different stuff like scribbling or maybe making art on your phone. And even if you don't use it, it's there so you can put it right back in. Again, for me, the S23 Ultra wins it here. Category number 5 is performance and power, and over here there's no clear winner. See, Samsung's S23 Ultra runs the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, which is a very capable chipset, super power efficient, gives a lot of good battery life along with a lot of power. A lot of you seem to believe that iPhones are the choice for gaming smartphones. While that might have some truth to it if you do a lot of recording while you're gaming and if you intend to stream with your phone, but for a casual gamer like me who's just playing games and not recording gameplay, I have faced no lags with the S23 Ultra either. All games run at higher settings with max frame rates and they seem to perform really well. But of course, the iPhone 15 Pro Max this time around has Apple's new A17 Pro chip that does bring a couple of new things to the table, like console quality games such as RE Village, as well as others that are on the way that will give you console quality graphics or PC like graphics on your phone itself, which is really incredible to see. So if you want to get into that kind of thing, definitely the iPhone is the way to go, because there's nothing quite like that on Android, at least while I'm making this video. But other than gaming, if we talk about day-to-day usage and multitasking and coming into apps and closing them, opening different stuff, it's all super smooth. There are no lags and no stutters, and that is the way it should be for either of these phones, because these are extremely expensive flagship devices. And I'm happy to report that that is the case with both of these phones. Category number 6 is battery life and miscellaneous features. Okay, couple of things I have to highlight quickly. The S23 Ultra comes with a 5000 mAh battery in the box, and battery life on this phone is exceptional. You can easily expect more than 6 hours, up to 7 or even more if you're a light user of screen on time, which basically means that if you charge this once during the day, you don't have to charge it until the next day. No matter what you do, whether it is a lot of gaming or social media consumption, this battery will not disappoint you. With that, you also get 45 watts of fast charging, and this is a blessing in disguise because the battery life is long enough. And when you need a little bit of extra juice, the 45 watts charging speed lets you quickly juice up the battery in the matter of a couple of minutes. The iPhone 15 Pro Max again has a 4422 mAh battery. It was kind of an unofficial figure that I found on the internet. But if we talk about just battery life on this phone is once again exceptional. Has to be one of the best battery phones that I have ever used till now. I would say even better than the S23 Ultra. Credit where it's due, this gives me more than 7 hours of screen on time, and I don't even charge it to 100%, just till 80-85% to protect the battery life. It is truly exceptional, but a bummer is that even though we have Type-C, we don't get to see fast charging. So anytime you do have to charge this phone, it takes anywhere from an hour to up to 2 hours to fully charge, which is kind of a bummer. Couple of miscellaneous features that I want to touch on start with the speaker experience. Both phones have stereo speakers, guys, and the speakers on the S23 Ultra are super loud and super crisp, but the speakers on the iPhone 15 Pro Max are just better. I don't know what it is, whether it's the balanced sound stage or the fact that the lows are a bit deeper on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which makes you feel the bass a little more and overall gives you a louder, deeper sound. Overall, just the sound quality in this phone, guys, is absolutely incredible. Again, definitely the best speakers that I have seen in a smartphone till now. And last but not the least, both these phones have the same IP68 rating for water and dust resistance, which basically means you can dunk it in water for up to 30 minutes and you'll be totally fine. So if you want to shower with your phone or if you want to take it to the beach, both of these phones should be good enough for that. Category number 7, guys, cameras. I know this is what you guys had been waiting for. So let's start with the iPhone first. The iPhone has 3 cameras on the back. As you guys can see, a 48 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a new 12 megapixel 5x telephoto lens. Now, photos from the iPhone are crisp and sharp, just as they should be when you buy a phone pricing this much. Of course, photos from this phone can be shot up to 48 megapixels in Pro RAW to get the most out of them, but the normal photos are now 24 megapixel from the previous 12 megapixel, which gives you a little more detail that can be seen especially in low light photos. Other than that, photos are crisp, slightly on the warmer side than I would have liked it, but still pretty color accurate. And if you're a person who clicks a lot of human portraits or a lot of human faces, essentially, this is the phone for you. Flattering is the word that I would use to describe the photos that come out of this phone, and you will be really happy with it if you take a lot of selfies or if you take a lot of portraits. The 5x telephoto is good, but we'll talk about Samsung's answer to that a little bit later. After this, let's talk about video. Video on the iPhone is again exceptionally good. It has always been a strong point for Apple devices, and now it is stronger than ever. You get ProRes log recording now for the first time on these iPhone 15 Pros. So if you're a video creator, you know that is a blessing in disguise. You can record ProRes log up to 4K 60 FPS if you connect an external SSD directly to your phone, which is again a really cool feature. Other than that, the normal videos are also super stable and have that typical Apple look with the beautiful HDR color calibration. I think if you want smartphone video, the iPhone is definitely the phone to go for. Coming to the Samsung side of things, guys, the S23 Ultra is also one of the best camera smartphones, and let me explain why. If you are looking for versatile cameras, this is the only camera system you should ever think of. A 200 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto lens, and a 10 megapixel 10x telephoto lens up to 100x of space zoom. The iPhone does 25 times digital zoom, and the S23 Ultra can do up to 100 times of digital zoom. Photos from the S23 Ultra are once again sharp and very color accurate. Colors are a little more boosted because this is a Samsung phone and that is the look that Samsung goes for. You can click photos up to 200 megapixels if you want to, and if you want to print them and throw them up on your living room wall, you can do that with this phone. And photo quality is very good. I really like the optical zoom range from 3x all the way to 10x. It looks really sharp. And of course, you've got that 100x digital zoom in case you want to zoom in to faraway objects, and that also works really well. On the video side of things, you can record 8K video on this phone right here, which is pretty usable compared to the previous generation. And of course, 4K 60 is always there to use with the other lenses. Video quality is good, definitely improved from last time, but not up to the quality of the iPhone 15 Pro. So if you want versatile smartphone cameras, go with the Samsung, and if you want great video and great human photos from your phone, go with the iPhone. Conclusion time. See, both these phones are super expensive, guys. Both of these phones retail for about $1,200 in the States, but in India, the prices are a little bit different. The S23 Ultra can be found on sale for around 1,25,000 rupees, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max is on sale for 1,60,000 rupees. None of these phones are value for money phones, therefore recommending them is a lot more difficult. See, the fact of the matter is 90% of you guys don't need to buy these phones unless you're a creator or you just have loads of money. But if you're still confused, if you like the Android OS and want more versatile cameras, go for the S23. And if you like shooting a lot of smartphone video and are tied into the ecosystem or just prefer iOS over Android, go for the iPhone. My personal opinion, I would pick the S23 Ultra, but hey, that's just me. Let me know in the comments below what do you guys think about these two phones, owners of the phones that I spoke about. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments as well, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching this comparison. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, press on the bell icon so you don't miss any other update, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye, guys. Have a good one.